We wanted to experiment with the hops that we were growing, and we knew that we would have quite a bit of production of the actual hops. So we wanted to add value and have a different way of using the hops. And in order to do that, we need to process it differently. 7 years ago, we planted our first hop plant with the vision of starting an estate brewery. We knew how to grow barley and wheat, but this was a new era for us to start a hop yard. Today we have a 20-acre hop yard with over 10 varieties of hops. We have more than what we need for our own brewery, which gives us the opportunity to experiment with other products, hop oil, hop pellets. It's hard to imagine that 7 years ago we planted our first hop rhizome, and it started this exciting journey that we're on today. Our first crop of hops in the fall of 2011 was literally picking it by hand. It was 4 months old. We didn't know what to expect. 2012 was about planting acres, and I believe we planted 5 acres by hand.
So I'm Chris, and this is my brother Lawrence.
The first year we used poles on an angle, and we thought that this was the way to go, but it was soon proved that this was definitely something to be revised and worked on. And we eventually pulled out all the poles the next year. That year we didn't have a hop harvester, so we started experimenting with hop oil. We finally graduated to planting poles and discovering that basically the right way to go is how everyone else does it. Having poles 20 feet high with a complete cabling system. We haven't looked back since. That year was the first year that we had a fantastic harvest, and it was due to trellising them up 20 feet in the air.
So guess what we're doing at the farmery today? We're losing fingers. I hope not.
We again didn't have our hop harvester, so we chose the next best thing, which was a chicken plucker. Now we're lucky we walked away with all of our fingers. Where else in North America can you have a full functioning barley farm right beside a hop yard? We are so unique in the whole landscape that this is something that Manitoba is in a perfect region to do both. 5 years after planting the first hop rhizome, we finally got our professional, slightly used hop harvester, which made a world of difference and opened up our eyes to what was really possible. We were finally able to have our very first real hop harvest. We had to experiment with drying down for storage, for compacting the bales, and actually had enough supply to last for the whole season. We're at the point where we're growing way more hops than we could ever use at our brewery. So we're finding new methods, new processes to add value to the crops of hops.
I'm Roberta Irvin. I work at the Food Development Center, and I'm in charge of business development here. The value that FDC can provide is we can help people test out their idea, test out the market in this environment, in a safe environment, without going and spending, how many thousands of dollars to either revamp an existing facility or build their own facility, which would be even more than that.
So my name is Lisa Casper, and I'm a scientist at the Food Development Center, and my area is bakery, bars, and cereals. Right now we're working on a project with Farmery. We're working with their essential oils from their hops, and we're looking at the components that are within their hops and relating that to the smells of the hops and the applications that they would be good for. When the hops are growing, there are little cones on the hop plant. Within there is lupulin, and it contains oil as well as alpha acid.
Here, even your hand is getting yellow from the oils and stuff.
Farmery is extracting out the oils from the lupulin.
This is a typical steam generator. This was built for the Food Development Center in Portage La Prairie. It's very universal or very easy to use, but the powerhouse is electrical steam generator. So what this machine does is produce steam. We push the steam through the hose here down to the bottom. We open up the steam, and we gently strip out the oils with the steam. We use steam as a carrier. So this is the power of the steam. So we're gonna just open up just a little bit here. So that's pretty much, the level that we're gonna be pushing through. And that gently strips out and is really the carrier of the hop oil. And that gets pushed up to the top of the cone here. And just like a normal still, it comes down through this pipe here. We have water, cold water circulating through this. It condenses and actually pulls more vapors through here. All that vapor actually has oil in it. From that, it actually drips down into our container where we actually collect the hydrosol. And from that, the oil floats to the top, which is exactly what we're doing here. The oil floats to the top. So in about 100 pounds of product, we get typically between 50 mLs and 150 mLs of oil. So from a production point, you get very little. But just to put it in perspective, in a 70 hectoliter tank, 7,000 liters of beer, if we wanted to put in and influence the flavor profile with hop oil, is that we would put 10 mLs of oil in that. So that's a lot of beer for 10 mLs. The exciting challenge of experimenting with something like hop oil. I mean, first of all, Manitoba isn't known for growing hops. So to really spend the time and look at what the possibilities are to developing a product specifically from the hops that we grew on our farm and adding value to it outside the beer industry is like, a huge challenge for us to do. We're excited to work with FTC because they have the equipment, they have the scientists there, they have the personnel to really help us walk through and have a tangible product for the consumer at the other end. And this is something easy that we can offer from the brewery and actually have it into an exportable product. And that would be something right up our alley, that we're taking something raw from our land, adding value, growing it, adding value to it, and having a finished product for the end user. And that's exciting.
At the Food Development Center, we really like to work with companies like the Farmery. It's wonderful to see how we can collaborate. It's really a nice synergy and a nice fit.